Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Did everybody count their ballots? Are we all?
I'm
Well,
still counting.
We're still counting. Yeah, that's a mess.
Good morning.
Hi, Mike. Good morning.
Okay, I don't see myself yet.
I see a
We don't
big
either.
D. Don, we see a big D.
Big E. It's the computer's just slow, I believe.
Mike would know.
No, I don't. And it sounds like you're something's going on. There's like a feedback loop.
There you go. You're coming.
Is that because he's on the phone?
I don't know. I'm getting that too. I don't know. Maybe.
Sometimes when there's a lot of people opened it, you get that. You know, if their mics open. Dr. Rosa, good morning.
Morning.
Steve, good morning. Joyce, good morning. Renee, Emily, good morning. Joe, good morning.
Midge, you're my namesake, you know. We have the same last name.
Who's that?
Joyce Bash.
Oh,
We met-
really?
We met on your porch one day. I came over
Oh,
to get some information.
Don, we still didn't see your pretty face.
Give me time. I got my name down.
That's all we have is your pretty face.
Let me do something else here.
Like
There
a
I
There you
am.
go.
God, talk about slow.
I want to see you, Don. Where are you?
I'm
There's,
at the top.
there's Don. He's here. Hi, Don.
Oh,
Steve.
hey, good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Yeah,
Hi, Rosa.
nice to be seen.
Hi, how are you, Dan?
Just great, just great.
Hi, Rosa.
Hi, Steve.
Okay.
Joe, whenever you want me to start, let me know.
Okay, Mitch. Since there's Joe Osuna and me, Joe Osuna is known as Joe, and I'm known as Joseph.
Okay, Joseph.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
morning.
We have a nice program today that Midge is going to put on for us, and she's brought some guests. Welcome to the guests. I have Michael, Rosa, Don. Am I missing anybody?
No, that's it.
And hello to the people that are here regularly, Emily, Charles, Renee, Steve, Joe Osuna, Paul Bassett, Fred, Irene, and Joyce. Well, I'm just going to turn it over to Midge and let her run the show here. She'll tell you what she's doing and what it's all about. Go ahead, Midge.
Okay, I'm going to share screen. And I'm going to start my program here. Okay. Okay, can all of you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I represent the American Radio Emergency Service. The Amateur Radio Emergency Service is part of ARRL, which is the national organization that represents amateur radios operators. Amateur radio operators are really kind of unique. They offer their services free to the community, and they're licensed. These people are licensed. There's over 700,000 licensed amateur radio operators in the United States. When it was founded in 1914, they all got together and decided they needed groups that were different than the other amateur radio operators, but focused in on emergency. And that's what Amateur Radio Emergency Service ARES, which I represent. And I am the emergency coordinator for Seal Beach and Los Alamitos. Who we are? Well, first of all, we're all licensed by the Federal Communications Commissions. We have 3 levels of licensure: technician, general, and extra. Each licensure, you relinquish your former licensure as you go up the scale. So you can't, once you are a technician, if you become a general, you no longer are a technician. We are all volunteers. We use our own equipment. We use our time, and we must pass exams for each licensure. We were established in 1938. The origins here at Seal Beach and Los Alamitos began in 2019. We started with only 6 members, and now we have 20. And what they've proven their proficiency, they've done drills, we've done rallies, and I will be explaining some of the things that we participated in. Here is Willie Ortega. He is our first Spanish-speaking operator. He knows sign languages and is certified as an interpreter. He's also a CERTS instructor as well as I. Most of our members are trained in many areas. They are very diverse, and that's what makes us a very strong organization. We practice, we've had drills in front of the Bluebell Park and Eisenhower Park. We learn our skills and we share and teach each other. We have monthly meetings. We have an ARES net, and a net is where all of us report to a central net control and give our call sign and our location. Our call sign, and it was up back here, my call sign is W6LIK. That's how the Federal Communications Commission identifies us. If you wanted to know about, let's say you wanted to know about where Dr. Rosa lives or what community she's from, you could go to a site called ORZ and you could punch in her, if you knew her call sign, you could punch it in and you would get her name, when she was licensed, what kind of license she has, her call sign, and her grid location, which is really something that radio operators are always concerned about. But I'm sure most of you really wouldn't care, but we are concerned about that. This is my setup of some of my equipment. This is my solar panel. My Apache box, my radio, my battery, my portable battery, my handy talkie is here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. And this is just one of the, this is a directional antenna. We're portable. We must be able to move our stuff and get out and set up somewhere in the community or wherever, in a park. The solar antenna is really kind of neat because it can power our computers, it can power our radios, and it can power our cell phones. So it's really kind of a neat thing to have. Our repeaters are located on high mountaintops like Mount Wilson and certain peaks, and we can reach those peaks to travel, make our communications travel so much farther. And we participate in the DARN network, and I'm going to show you what a setup is, a typical setup. And this is in Don's backyard. So he has an antenna here. He has the alternate battery. We have a radio. We have what we call a WinLink TNC, which helps translate the communication from digital to radio. And this is a computer. And you say, well, why do you want it? Why do you want to do computers with radio? Well, in an emergency like the American Red Cross and Salvation Army, they have to transmit a lot of information. And information like telephone numbers, names, or to let people know that their loved ones are safe. And in order to transfer this information quickly and without error, we can type it in and send it very, very quickly. You know yourself, sometimes people talk and you say, what did he say? And so voice isn't always, we like to augment our transmission by the computer. And this is Don, and this is Don's home station, and Don's going to tell us a little bit about Don. So go ahead, Don.
Good morning, Midge. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Yeah. I got my ham license back in 1959 when I was about 13 years old. My father used to sail, and every time his ship would come into port, I'd make a beeline for the radio room. And it always fascinated me how the radio operator can talk at the same time as sending code, carrying on a conversation hundreds of miles away. And that got me going. I like I said, I got my license in 1959 and have been a ham ever since. My God, that's 61 years. And in that 61-year period, I've seen electronics change dramatically. We went from tubes to transistors to solid state devices, integrated circuits, and it's just been a tremendous gain in technology. Back in the 50s, this used to be one of the handy talkie walkie-talkies that we used. I think you can see that now. Yeah, the old BC 611. Well, today, this is what it is. You could hold it in your shirt pocket. It'll operate for hours on a single charge, and you could literally talk around the world with this through the use of repeaters and such. But what you see here is my base station at home, and I'm really into hardware. This is the desk I operate from as a rule. I've got UHF, VHF transceivers, high frequency transceivers, power amplifiers, and this is my world of radio. But just segue in a little bit. I'll bet you didn't know there are a lot of celebrity hams too. I don't know if you knew that Senator Barry Goldwater, he's gone now, of course. He used to be a ham. General Curtis LeMay, head of the Air Force. Arthur Godfrey was another famous individual. Marlon Brando, the actor, he was also a ham. The first man in space, Yuri Gagarin, he was a ham. And even Mahatma Gandhi. But anyway, it's a very, very popular hobby, as Midge mentioned earlier, and it really opens the world up to you. Midge, back to you.
Thank you, WAGVI. This is my setup at my home, and I use this because of COVID. We were told to stay in our facility, and we had our drill with the Red Cross, and it involved almost all of California. There were over 400 radio operators that participated in this drill, and we sent digital communication to a central area and just practice our ability to do this. And Don participated, and a few others of our areas participated in this event. Our portable field radio operations is very important. And through this, we have established communications with City Hall, public works, shelters, disaster agencies, Red Cross, Salvation Army, and RACES. And I will be explaining some of the things that we've done. Here's Dr. Rosa and Mike. This is at Leisure World. They asked us to participate in a health and welfare fair. And what we did is we explained what amateur radio was about and what we were all about. And we passed out literature. We had some radios there. We taught health safety and also recruited people to become RACES members and ARIES members. I went in the wrong area here, excuse me. Let me get back to where I should be. Here I am, there we are. Okay, here again, we have Dr. Rosa, who is a dentist, is in this picture. And this is a CERTS event, and many of our operators are trained in many areas. CERTS is, I'm sure most of you know what CERTS is. It's the Community Emergency Resource Team, and where they go out and help people in need during, let's say, an earthquake or power outage or things like that, community events. And they're trained very well, and it's a real plus to have an amateur radio operator that is trained in CERTS as well as CPR and other things that we are trained in. Here is RACES, and this, Don and I are members, and there are a couple other members that are RACES members. And what RACES is all about is their primary function is to observe and report. When you apply to RACES, you have to have a criminal background check. And primarily, in RACES, their function is from federal government orders. So this would be something really major, natural or man-made disaster where they would participate in. And we do have monthly meetings, and we have nets, and nets are where we call in and state our location and check our equipment. Proficiency skills. Well, many of us are doing a great job with digital communication. A lot of the EOC forms with the Emergency Office Commission has developed for us require us to fill out forms, and they're complicated, and you really have to learn how to fill them out on the computer. And we do use our handheld voice supplemented information to our people when we're filling out the forms and passing them. We had a class over at Leisure World at Morse Code. Morse Code is not dead. It is a very viable communication method. Here in amateur radio, they have a lot of contests, they have a lot of programs, and all of our repeaters, which are the high-towered towers that project our frequencies, do Morse code to identify where they are, their location. Community service. This is probably really a large aspect of our functioning. And I'm going to mention all of these, and then we'll go through some of them. We have operators on the Queen Mary. We do Special Olympics, the 5K turkey run in Seal Beach, the Christmas parade in Seal Beach, sound the alarm with the American Red Cross, interagencies with RACES and the other ARIES groups, and safety and health practice nets, which we are concerned about other people and make sure that they are safe and well. This is Mike, KG6BPL, and he's going to talk to us about his experiences with radio. Go ahead, Mike.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, my name is Mike Simpson. I'm a resident of Leisure World. My wife and I moved here in 2009. And one of the things that I was impressed with was a huge beam they have over near the amphitheater. I don't know if all of you have been to Leisure World, but there's a radio room there. And I thought, wow, that's really neat. I'm gonna start getting involved with the radio club there. And my focus was always, since I was a kid, was talking to people far, far away, doing what we call DXing, which is distance, stands for distance communication. And usually that's on the high frequency bands of amateur radio, 20, 40, and 80 primarily. Well, I got my start really very young with my older brothers when we got walkie-talkies for Christmas, which we thought were amazing. You know, these were back in the days of Radio Shack, and even before that. One of the things we always tried to do is see how far we could talk on our little, whatever they were, 50 milliamp or milliwatt walkie-talkies. Well, that was my first introduction. And then we were impressed, my brothers and I, by all the ham radio antennas that were down where we used to live, big quad antennas, I mean, gigantic things. And we had a neighbor who was a ham radio operator, and we would look at all of his equipment and be just so impressed. So I went and bought a Heathkit receiver when Heathkit was in business. That was a company that used to sell kits and you could make radios. Got a bunch of ARRL books, but I never got my license. I was a teenager, wanted to, but the problem was I didn't have a mentor, and I was really intimidated that I couldn't understand or wouldn't be able to be a ham operator. Well, fast forward 40 years later, it's something that I always wanted to do. So I sat down, got a book from Gordon West, and studied and got my technician license when we used to live up on the hill in Palos Verdes, and a guy named Walt Ordway helped me. At the same time, my older brother had never gotten his license. He got his. And then I bought an old Yaesu HF FT101Z transceiver and got set up and made my first contact with a guy in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and I was off and running. Hey, I was ready to go. Well, things intervened, life came about, and I kind of dropped out. In the meantime, I did study for my general. I studied for my extra. Didn't really do that much with ham radio until I moved back to Leisure World. And I thought, wow, well, I'm always going to get into distance radio. And along comes Midge Bash. And Midge says to me, that's great. Distance radio communication is wonderful if that's your thing. But, there's really a service that's probably more beneficial to the community and something you might want to get involved with, which is the emergency work that we're doing in conjunction with organizations like the American Red Cross. And she introduced me to Aries, and so here we are. And so my dreams of having a huge radio that could travel around the world, now I have a little HT handy talkie that I talk on the nets with people during the week. And that my wife bought me that. But in addition to that, here's the picture of me at W6RO, which is the call sign for the Queen Mary. And I get together with Midge and Dawn. We used to every month, but now because of COVID, the Queen Mary isn't operating. So as soon as it does, hopefully we'll be back to working on the Queen Mary. So this is really kind of a twofold thing of being an ambassador for ham radio, being an ambassador for the Queen Mary, keeping radio alive, and also introducing the concept of ham radio to friends, for people all over the world that come and visit us there. And we also talk to people from the Queen Mary. So it's been an interesting ride, but I'm excited to be involved in Aries and participate. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. One thing I want to mention is that both Don, WA6GBI, and Mike, KG6BPL, both of their wives are radio operators. And isn't that wonderful? I mean, that their wives have taken such an interest into being interested in ham radio. This is at a community service event. It's the Special Olympics at USC, and they utilize a lot of radio operators. And what we do there is communicate to the different team leaders about the students or the athletes. And we also, if they need supplies, we called the, like 911 for a student, anything like that, we transfer that information, and we really save a lot of fee. I'm sure you all realize how large USC is, and this event pulls 4,000 or 5,000 people, and it is produced or under the auspices of the police department. They donate a great deal of money to this program. And these rising stars are so full of spirit and dedication and excitement about what they do. I know when I was watching the race and I'm communicating to someone, there are 4 or 5, maybe they were around 8 or 9 years old, and they were running around the race. And all of a sudden, their kids were ahead and one girl fell. all of those students or athletes ran back and picked her up and made her finish with them. So they really taught us a lot about kindness, about mutual respect. And I think I did it for 2 years, and it's a 2-day event. We're there all day, and I would recommend they need volunteers to help with the students. It is really a worthwhile event. Here's another event we supported, and this was our first big event. It was the Turkey Trot, the 3-5K run at Seal Beach in November. There were about 3,000 attendees. We had the police department talk to us before and gave us a session on what we should be looking for in a crowd, what kinds of things, the spectators, what we should be scanning the crowd as well as the athletes. And what we did is we gave directions to people, restrooms, lost child, all that kind of things were involved with that. And it started at Mally's and went around. It was really, it was their first time that they had performed a turkey trot, and they had over 3,000 applicants in that run. They also had a run with children at the end, and it was really sweet. They had dads with their buggies and moms on bikes. It was really, really nice. This is our team after the event, and we were all so proud. Everything went well. All our radios worked. We had the correct frequencies, and so you can just see everybody in this thing is just smiling because we knew we were successful. This is the Christmas parade. I don't know if any of you have attended it. If you haven't attended the Christmas parade by the Lions Club here in Seal Beach, it's an amazing event. We were monitors for this event, but when I first moved to, I first visited Seal Beach, I went to this community event, and I thought it had such a warm holiday spirit like none other for just a little community. It's a very, very big event with a lot of floats, a lot of parades, people singing. It just really puts you into the community spirit. And we really got into it. We had so much fun monitoring that parade. Okay, this is about Sound the Alarm. This is an American Red Cross program. And what we do is we go into the communities are notified that if they want a smoke alarm installed into their home, that it would be installed to them free. And we have a team of installers. There are people there's like 5 or 6 on a team, and they learn how to install the alarm, and then how to they teach. There's a form. They teach them some fire safety. They teach them how important it is to have addresses and names and phone numbers. This is the communication team. We go out within a van. There's about 5 or 6 of us. We carry a ladder, and we go into the homes. They have to sign releases and everything. There's a real procedure, but nevertheless, we do provide. American Red Cross does provide the service, and it's wonderful. They say that 7 people die a day from fires. So it is a wonderful program. And they always need volunteers. All these programs I'm showing you, they always need extra volunteers, not just amateur radio operators. But what we did is we relayed if they needed more equipment, if they couldn't find the address, let's say if they needed water. One time they had problems with the roof. There was a slanted roof, and the installer wasn't sure if he could put that smoke alarm on that roof. So, and then we have people that are talented to go out and check and help them. So that's very nice. We found when we first started that we had people that wanted to be with us, but didn't want to take the test. So we started this little group called Radio Waves. And they are people that want to help us. They want to be with us and help us. And we can always use an extra hand when we're setting up our equipment and tables. And at the race, we use them with their FRS radios. The FRS radios don't go as a long distance. They maybe go 1-2 miles at the most. And we use the radio waves, the FRS radios, to communicate to us. Dr. Rosa is here, and so I would not steal any of her thunder. Dr. Rosa has been the pioneer in communications with the mutuals. Her use of FRS radios in teaching is outstanding, and I would like her to tell them about the FRS radios. Dr. Rosa.
Well, I was not prepared to do this, but what would you like me to talk about?
just generally what you do, your program. I think that of all the people here at Leisure World, you were the one that brought FRS radio attention to so many people. So how do you train your people in your mutual, and just tell them generally? And I'm sorry, Rosa, I didn't know if you were coming or not, so I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Okay. Well, pretty much what we do here in Leisure World, since we're such a large community, and since we're aware that if there is a disaster, we won't be able to communicate over the phones. A lot of people have been showing interest in using the FRS radios, and what we've been doing with Steve Moody, that is also at the meeting. We've been recommending people to buy the Motorola T460, and we get groups of 5 people, and we train them how to use the different features of the radio, because it looks very simple to use these family radios. However, if you don't practice and you don't get used to pressing the PTT button, the button to talk, and release it after you finish, we have found ourselves blocked by somebody that keeps pressing the button and nobody else can talk. So practice and a lot of awareness of how these radios work to make the most out of it have been the most important training we could give to everyone. And also, while you get trained, you learn how to make the most out of your radio, because it's not only the feature of talking, but with the family radio, you can screen the weather, you can check other channels and see if there is a disaster or a problem in another area nearby you. You'll be able to check all of that with the radios. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see my arrow, you can actually use it as a regular phone. This feature here is a ringtone. When you press that, the phones that are in the same frequency you are, it will ring just like a telephone. Of course, the radios have to be on. And what is good about this feature is, like, we've been setting up this ringtone, different ringtones for each mutual. Like if I hear a ringtone, I will know if it is mutual 3 or mutual 12 or mutual 2. So that is another way of helping ourselves know who and from where they're calling us. Now, another thing that is very, very useful is to know how to change your channels, because you have 22 channels, and the channels in Leisure World, they're all the channel and they're all over 0. There's 2 different types of settings. When you put the numbers over 0 or the numbers over 1, then you change the setup of the frequency. And all of that, you know, like I'm saying, it's very easy to speak on the family radio. But when you want to make the most out of the family radio, you have to learn the features, and you have to learn the rules of talking on a radio, because you cannot go on and on and on a radio for more than a minute. A minute goes by and you get cut off, and you have to be respectful to wait and see if somebody else wants to talk besides you. So that's all I can say. Sorry, I was not prepared, but I hope information I gave you all, it's useful. And if anybody wants to learn how to use these simple family radios, you can get my phone number through Mitch or Steve. Steve and I, we're a team, and we do the training together. Thank you very much for taking the time to hear me. And that's all. from me, Mitch?
Thanks, Dr. Rosa. Dr. Rosa really points out that if you don't start using the radio the day you need it, you have to take practice. And even though these are easy to use, they need training. And Dr. Rosa and Steve do an excellent job. Here are two of our members that, this is at the TRW Electronics Flea Market. And the two of them find things that we need at a very inexpensive cost. And this discarded military, and sometimes different companies have gone out of business. They sell new stuff as well as old, but it's really, if you like electronics and like to look at a lot of odd looking things, this is the place to go, TRW Flea Market. And you can ask Don about that if he has any suggestions. Or this is, when we're done with an event, we're just like, we're resilient, ready, and motivated to do something else. In this picture, I like to show you, we have a dentist, a nurse, she's an educator, we have a doctor, we have an public relations specialist, we have an IT specialist, we have a sign language specialist. She is works at the dog pound or whatever she does, dog adoption or whatever. And then we have an electrician. Electrical engineer, actually. So you can see the diversity of people, and all together we can figure things out. It's a wonderful group, Aries. And if any of you are interested, please call me. Here's my information. There's a lot more to Aries, but I didn't want to give you too much to scare you. So I hope you enjoyed hearing this, and please give me a call if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mitch, thanks so much. If we ever need training in doing an online presentation, we're going to call you.
What?
That worked out so well.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like you to stop sharing your screen and open this for questions. Okay.
Hey.
If anybody has questions, just raise your hand. Fred?
I think I mentioned this the other day, Midge, and my question is, how do you deal with the antenna issues that you mentioned earlier for somebody that lives in Leisure World?
That's a great question, Fred, and it's a dilemma for most of us. But we have some of us have mastered some solutions. We use what we call a ground plane antenna. It looks like a star, and it doesn't have to be up that high. I have one in my bedroom. It's up about 8 feet, and it really hits all the repeaters in the local our local frequency, so I do very well. We also have what we call as a J pole, and it's made out of ladder line feed wire, and it is also about 6 to 12 feet high, and you can put it out on your porch, or you can I have it on my porch in flowers. I have artificial flowers wound around it, so that no one knows. I can take it down. Everything that we put up in Leisure World, at least in my mutual, you have to be able to take down. I also use a portable fiberglass flagpole, which it can go up probably 35 feet. And I use that for drills, and when I use a different frequency when I want to really get far out past Seal Beach in this area. Does Mike and Don, do you have any other comments about antennas?
No, but the Homeowners Association really does present a challenge to our antenna situation, and we're constantly searching for better ways to support the UHF and VHF antenna design.
I think some of the people that enforce these rules on us do not realize the importance of radio communication and getting out. And yes, there is a radio room here at Leisure World, but that could easily not be functioning. And to have 7 or 8 people in the community that can function as a radio unit they really should take some into consideration. In previous years, there are some mutuals that permitted people to have long, tall antennas, and you can drive around Leisure World and you can see them. But we are not permitted now, or at least in my mutual, they're very strict about that.
Mitch,
Rose is holding up an
Oh,
antenna.
Rosa's showing,
pizza.
that's a mag mount. Rosa is showing a mag mount. And a mag mount is what we usually put on a car. You see them, they put them on the top of a car, but you can put a mag mount on top of a pizza dish and put it in your house. And Rosa is one of our operators that gets the best reception, and that's what she uses. Right, Rosa?
Oh,
right?
They always say, oh, Rosa, you've got the best reception.
Half a
And
meter,
Yeah,
just half a meter.
yeah.
I mean, would it be cost prohibitive to have a repeater station in Leisure World?
Usually repeaters are on top of mountains or on top of high.
I see.
We are very low here, and that's one of, that's why we do use repeaters. But sometimes during a major event, repeaters are burnt down or knocked down and aren't available. So that's why radio communication, handheld radios are really valuable. And today, some of our handheld by the company Yaesu and ICOM, they are excellent. They are so technical and powerful. And a lot of the commercial radios that the police use, very, very powerful and relatively small with a long antenna.
Yeah. Now,
I gotta say that when I was a little kid, we had like a Philco radio with a shortwave band on it, and I used to sit for hours and turn that dial and listen to distant people speaking foreign languages, and I always found that amazing. I'm also an old sailor, so I've been around a lot of hams and boats and single sideband and all that sort of stuff.
I had
Thank you.
Midge, you might mention that we do use the darn repeater system for some of our communications.
Yeah, the DARN system is made up of over 30 repeaters on the top of all these tall mountains like Mount Disappointment, Mount Wilson, and they're all connected. So if I needed something, I could just go to any one of those repeaters and it would be transmitted through all the other repeaters.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead, Joe.
The online, can you do the training for the Motorola radios online, like at a Zoom meeting?
Rosa, would you like to answer
No,
that?
I don't think so.
No, she likes, you know why? Because you make mistakes and you got to relearn that mistake right away. If you did it online, everybody be confused.
You have to have the radio with you.
Yeah, we
You
would.
have to identify the buttons and hear it.
Yeah, it's
That's why I try, but no, you cannot do it online.
Do you know that if you turn off your microphone, that the radio would work? If you turn off your Zoom microphone, the radio would serve as the sound source.
Yeah,
So-
the radio, but the hands, you have to learn how to use your hands and change the features here. You cannot do that.
Okay, well, I'm not going to an outside meeting, so.
no, but what she's saying is 3 or 4 people can be together outside and she could teach them, because the ability to figure out how to use those 4 little buttons, which can be very confusing, and to remember it, you got to do it about 5 or 6 times.
I
And-
understand that, yeah.
And it really you need to do it in a small group. Maybe 3 people would be plenty, right, Rosa?
In an open area
Yeah.
with a face cover, no more than 3 people. And one comment I wanted to make is these family radios, you can only use the antenna that comes with it.
Right.
It's not like the ham radios. There are these that you can change your antennas, even put the magnetic one and the other one. These
Thanks,
ones,
Rosa.
Well, many people are unwilling to meet face-to-face in any size group. So that's why I'm
understand
asking this
that,
question.
but,
There's probably
Joe-
some training things online that people can use.
well, yeah, Joe, and like everything, somebody could really learn it by themselves, but those are really the exceptions. We have found, and I have been at a couple of Rosa's sessions, and people, they're seniors and they just don't get it. They have to do it a couple, 6, 7 times before they really understand it. Are there any
Learning,
other questions? Go ahead, Rosa.
learning how to use these radios will be like trying to learn how to drive a car
Right,
without being in the car.
yeah.
You can't.
You would be on the radio. I'm sorry, but I don't
Have the
agree.
radio
Um,
in there, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
over and out.
all right. Any other questions?
Midge, I just wanted to say, as far as antennas go, here in Leisure World, you know, we all have, we're, you know, impacted by rules that restrict our use of antennas. However, I've been using the ground plane, which is kind of looks like a 4-legged spider. And you have one, I know, inside. Mine's outside on the patio, and I keep it out there and I use it, and it's very effective with my Yaesu handheld in, I think, communicating pretty far with that. But it's a very, very simple, inexpensive design. The one that I have was handmade by one of the Leisure World radio members, and I've used that successfully here in Leisure World for quite some time.
The antenna that he's speaking about, we learned how to make those at a Salvation Army presentation, and we couldn't believe how inexpensive they were to make and how effective they are. And they're called ground plane. Don, you helped make some, didn't you, Don?
Oh, absolutely. We developed a kit, and we did have a workshop to assemble these.
Yeah.
Now, we're also working on a new generation of antennas, J-poles, once I get my act together.
Well, thank you so much for listening to us.
I have a suggestion for Joseph. Joseph, if you want to learn the family radio on the computer, the best way to go is go on YouTube and look for family radio. They do have trainings there.
Yeah.
However, you need the practice.
Yeah, at least you can look at it over and over and over on YouTube.
Yes. You
Well-
can learn it on YouTube, the basics. Yes.
Go ahead, Emily.
I just want to say hello to Rosa. I met you 3 years ago. Remember, you came to my house, and I had one of those radio from my mutual. I don't know how to use it, so I gave to Rosa.
Oh, I remember you.
Yeah, you
Yes.
came to my house. Remember?
Yes, indeed. Beautiful house.
Let's say hi.
Hi, Emily.
Fred?
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
I had one more question. Is there a reason that you're, well, I guess the question is, can you put a antenna up in the attic space? Is there any advantages or disadvantages to doing that?
Oh, there is definitely an advantage, but I'm not going to say that I advocate that, but I may do that. You know, I mean, it's like one of those things, Fred. You do what you have to do, and I do what I have to do. You know,
Fred,
and-
But it's a low power device. It's not like installing
but it's like
a space heater or something.
in my mutual. If I would ask, he would say absolutely not. So you don't ask.
No.
Don't ask, don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask.
Assuming that question was from a Leisure World person? Is that a question from a Leisure World person?
Yeah, we're all Leisure World.
Well, I'm a Leisure
Yeah,
World
we're all
person.
Leisure World. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm a director on in Mutual 6. I will say probably not. That's the crawl space up in your attic. You aren't supposed to do anything with, but
Don't ask.
Okay, plug your ears, Michael.
Yeah, the bottom line is really the higher you can get the antenna, the better you're going to be. But there are restrictions, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry I asked.
One thing I want to leave you all with, I just want to mention to everybody, just as a reminder, that whenever you put your car in the garage, make sure you have a half a tank of gas. We know that when the fires, a lot of people did not have enough gas in their car, and that was a problem. So mentally put that in your mind. Don't go put that car away unless you have a half a tank of gas. Also, have a fire extinguisher in your house. Have your medication and phone numbers available in an emergency, because you never know when you're going to have to run out of that house. And I think that's all I have. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a good day.
Thanks, Midge.
Very
Thanks,
nice.
So
Joseph.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for everybody that came to help us out with information.
You're
Yeah.
hired.
Let's go back to watch the elections.
Yeah, right. See what's going to get.
It doesn't change
Who won?
forever.
It's slow moving,
Fine.
like
Nobody
watching
has
the
any-
grass grow.
Okay, if nobody has any questions about this or about what we usually do during this meeting, I'm going to just go around the room and say hello to people. The people who came as special guests don't have to stay for this. Emily, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. I'm glad to learn.
All right, Charlie, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Just keep watching those election results and nothing happens.
And Renee, can you say hello to us? Oh, she left. Steve? Oh, no, she's up in the corner. Your mic's not on, Renee.
It's Rini, by the way.
Okay. Maybe that's why she's not turning the mic on. I think she's trying. Steve, how are you today?
Good, good. Yeah, I'm enjoying all this radio talk, and we were hoping the radio club. I'm not a member, but they do have it at 9:30, where you can practice with FRS radios if you own one on Wednesdays. So that's there's and if you own a FRS radio and you buy two, usually you have to buy two, you might give one to your neighbor and tell them which channel you're on, and that way you can practice and communicate also.
Thanks,
Okay,
Steve.
thank you.
Hi, Rosa. Thanks. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you for having me. And what are you guys a special club that you get together?
We do Zoom meetings on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Oh,
and have a party on Thursday evening.
okay.
So if you want to be on that list, send me your email address.
Okay.
We're the Video Producers Club, and Joseph is our president. We're right next to your radio room.
Oh, well, no, I'm not with the radio club no more.
Oh, okay. Well, we're right next to the radio club.
You guys,
In the
yeah. Well, how can I send you my email?
Have
Yeah, I can. You can send it to me, or I can send it to you, Rosa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that way you let me know, and if I'm available, I would like to keep joining with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I can send it to you,
Steve, share it with
Joseph.
Steve. Share it with your radio group, or you share
Yeah,
it
okay.
with them. And then if they want to join, they can join.
Now, let me tell you one thing, Joseph, is that since we've been doing the training for the mutuals,
Mhm.
most mutuals right now, I can tell you 4 mutuals that I know of that did the training before COVID, they have their particular day where they have the drills. Like my mutual 2, we have our drill with all the people that have FRS radios on Tuesday. And mutual
Okay.
3, I think they have it on Monday. And mutual 11, I think they have it on Thursday. So not everybody goes to the radio club. They want to be talking to each other in case of an emergency. That's
Right.
what, yeah.
Right.
So
Thank you.
depending on the mutual that you're in, I may let you know if there is a group already and you can join the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm in
Alright.
6.
I'll be in touch. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you,
everyone.
Rosa.
Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Paul? Microphone.
Microphone, Paul, you're muted.
You're muted, Mo. You're still muted.
I should know better. I see Midge and Michael have left the room. I wanted to know if that picture of Michael in front of an RCA 44 microphone was an original ribbon microphone, or if it's an updated one. Because I remember, like with Fred, my dad bought a Philco pre-war receiver and record cutter. And basically I learned to go through and found WWV, Fort Collins, Colorado, fascinated by the TikToks and the beeps for indicating the hour. So I got kind of interested in broadcast, but I'm not quite clear exactly what sideband is. Couldn't get my head around that. But anyway, I enjoyed the meeting and all. And you guys have a good day.
Thank you, Paul. Joyce, do you want to say hello? You're muted.
Yes, very, very interesting program. I appreciated that. I also wanted to thank Charlie and Steve. Last week I had a problem, or the last time on Wednesday, and they were able to help me with 2 clicks of my finger. That's all it took. But I couldn't have done it without them. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I don't have to call on you, do I, Fred? Joe, how are you doing today?
So far, so good. Nice meeting. Interesting.
Irene, nice to see you.
Thank you. Has been wonderful listening to about the radios. As being a retired park ranger, we use the radios in the parks all the time, and this kind of brought me up to date on the radios. Thank you.
Hi, Lily.
Hi. Yeah, it's very interesting. Thank you.
I'm glad everybody enjoyed this. I know I enjoyed it quite a bit. I found it really interesting. Tonight is the night that the cocktail party has been moved to. It's Thursday at 5:30. Okay, because Bob has something at 4:30, so I don't want to interfere with him. But if you go to his, you're able to jump over to ours. I think he scheduled his for Thursday.
That's right. It's at 4:30.
Right. So we're at 5:30, and come and have some fun. I'm going to look up some stuff to show you. I hope you'll bring some stuff you want to share with us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your note yesterday, Charlie.
Oh, you're welcome. Do you know they started work on the loft today?
No.
Yeah, that's Taylor was telling me.
Okay, good. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah. Oh, I might mention while we're talking about that, in the newspaper, I saw this was of the report, capital funding request amphitheater loft location. And one of the
30,000.
things mentioned there, yeah, well, projector screen store, $6,543. Or no, projectors, it's kind of confusing, but anyway, they talked about projector screen store. So that makes me think they're going to buy a projector.
Yeah, they are. And Joe sent us this report. He emailed it to everyone, didn't you? No, he just sent it. Okay, yes.
He also said they changed the name too of that room.
To Ankney's personal meeting room? Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I only sent you the email. I thought you wanted to share it with them, but
Okay.
I can tell it if you want, or you
Go
can
ahead,
tell.
please.
Okay, basically, Ankeny about 2 weeks ago went before the GRF board and asked for an expenditure of approximately $30,000 to do some upgrades to the old theater club room, which is now called the multi-purpose room. It's no longer called the theater club room. He now changed the name of it. So 30 grand, and for your information, Fred, yes, about a $6,000 allocation for the projector installation.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, and they broke it down by the flooring, by the interior improvements, by the green screen, the projector, stuff like that, with a $6,000 contingency. So that's the news right now. It's good news.
Although we don't know what the projector is. I believe that it's a system so that we can capture things through a remote camera system or a mobile camera system.
Cool.
Okay. We had talked with Ankeny about having a setup in that room similar to the one they have in Clubhouse 4 for filming the meetings. Okay, so we may be on track for that, so that if we have a meeting that we want to or a program we want to video, a single person can run 3 cameras if they so desire.
Right.
Anyhow, we don't know for sure what that is, but we know the green screen's coming, and our lighting's coming, and new windows are coming, and new floors are coming. So there's quite a bit of work being done up there.
Nice.
Don't get in the way, or they'll just push you out the door. Anything else? Joe, do you want to say anything about your meetings next week? Or everybody knows when they are?
Yeah, pretty much everybody here in this room knows.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, so goodbye again. So long.
Goodbye. See you tonight.
Thanks.
See you
Thanks,
tonight.
Joseph.